Yes, I'm wearing the same shirt that I wore last time. No, I actually don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't know. I don't know. I have a rack of clothes that I wear when I have to go in public, which is like every 10 days.
Okay.
Okay, what?
It might be the same shirt.
And it might be. So, welcome to Garden Margaritas. Okay. Can I talk to the camera? Is it okay?
Oh, yeah, you can talk to the camera.
Okay.
Do you want a margarita?
Oh my gosh, I would love a margarita. I haven't had one in, 2 weeks?
Since the last time.
Yeah. So, what have you been doing for the last...
Oh, because when we filmed the last time, you didn't want very much lime in yours.
Exactly.
You were all messed around being over 57, 9, 50, 60,
I don't know what age I am. I don't
42.
know. It's between 57 and 90, and that fluctuates every day of the lockdown. So, we just said we haven't done this for 2 weeks. Have you guys missed us? Probably not. I'm trying really hard to get rid of my sad eyebrow face, but we'll see if that works.
I told you we have to get one of those filters so that we look all smooth and
So we could be Mr. and Mrs.
glass-like.
Potato Head.
Stepford people.
Stepford wife
Garden
and husband.
Stepford margaritas.
Exactly. So we haven't done garden margarita for 2 weeks. What have you been doing? Like what the heck?
Well, so when we talked last time, I was in the process of doing my fashion show, virtual fashion show,
Okay.
which is done out, published, and it's been out for over a week. So that's a done project. Then I don't know. There was a lot of details in that project.
I'm getting ready to take a drink. You're supposed to be able to go ahead and talk
You want me to just talk?
for a second. Yeah.
There's
You can even talk to the camera if you
No.
want.
There is a lot of details in the making of that video that I didn't realize when I decided I wanted to do it. So that was just the details, almost just.
So quickly, what kind of details?
Well, you would know better than me because you know what was driving you crazy that I couldn't figure out.
Well, I didn't have my laptop for like 5 days. I heard the same music. That's okay, Penny. Just get rid of whatever it is.
You brought the dogs.
We have the dogs today, so they're over making their own noises. Yeah, so I listened to the same music over and over again for probably 3 days. And so the house was kind of like, this was all about the fashion video. Which, by the way, turned out super stellar. But I'm going to tell you, it takes a lot to do that. Right?
Yes. Years off of
Years off of your life?
my sanity.
Yeah,
Or
that's
your
all right.
sanity. Probably
No,
your sanity.
Both of our sanities.
Well, the thing is trying to find that royalty-free music situation was just kind of like, it all sounds the same after a while, like just a keyboard doing things over and over and over. But then somehow even though I had to do royalty-free for all of my videos, somehow when we got to the guys' videos, all of a sudden it was perfectly fine to use an actual
Song
copyrighted song.
from 1979 or something like
because
that.
you had to have it.
Well, yeah. Obviously, I'm too sexy for my video. But anyway. So we were talking just a couple minutes ago about the reopening for tourists, for everybody coming back down to Penasco. And what a cool thing it is that people get, well, it's a double-edged sword. It's cool that everybody gets to come back that wants to, that has reservations.
I thought we weren't going to talk about politics and get people upset and taking sides and all that.
We're not.
Okay, good. So don't do that.
We're not. But there are procedures that you have to go through in order to come into Penasco.
Right.
This is a segue.
Uh-huh.
You know,
About details.
you know John Stewart?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a segue into details about travel. So is what's going on right now something that's only for this time that we're living through?
Oh, like crossing the border and having your paperwork in order. And
Yeah.
having everything done and the T's crossed and the I's dotted.
Right. So you have a mission, like even like a scientific mission. You have a mission and you think, well, I'll get to the border and they're just going to let me through,
Right.
and everything's going to be totally cool.
So,
and then you have these things that come up in your face. What do you do?
Do you remember, like, this is the third time we've done one of these Margarita videos.
Right.
And do you remember that, like, in both of the other two, I had this book sitting here?
Yes, I thought it was kind of like the Thornbirds.
I know.
It was just there, just to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, this book today is the perfect day to talk about.
Let's do it.
Because it's what we were just talking about. So I'm gonna tell you a story really quick.
Got to make it quick. People get bored quick.
I know, okay.
Pour a margarita, a blue margarita, like one of these, and listen to her story. She's not a storyteller all the time, so this should be really special.
All right. So this is a book about, it's called Campfires on Desert and Lava.
Cool.
And it was about a trip that was done in 1907.
1907.
1907. And if you look here on page 20, they show a map of how they, oh, no. Yes, it was 1907, but this was
storyteller.
1908. It says it was drawn, this was drawn for the book in 1908. So this tells you in 1907, they took off from Tucson on November 2nd.
Okay.
And it shows where they camped on November 3rd, November 4th, November 5th, November 6th, November 7th, and they got to Sonoita on November 8th.
Okay.
So this is 1907, and they were botanists. They had a group of scientists that were going to specifically look for plants, like different kinds of plants that they would find from Tucson to Sonoita and then on over to the Pinacate craters.
Cool.
And they were going to, I can't think of the words right now, but like keep track, log. Okay.
Yeah,
they were
going to
log
everything, yeah.
The different, specifically plants, but then also animals that they saw along the way. And it took
By the way, you look really smart with your glasses on.
I know. It took them. It took them all those days to camp
4 days,
and
right?
get there, from the 2nd until the 8th to get to Sonoita.
6 days from
6 days.
6 days from Tucson to Sonoita.
Then they were in Sonoita for I think a night or two, and then they actually got over to the craters on November 10th. They spent time all in this whole area over here until around November 26th, 27th, and then they returned home. But here's the point about the details.
Right.
So
this was a big trip. This was a big like scientific exploration trip, and they thought they had everything nailed.
So it says, this brings me to the very important business of getting into Mexico with an outfit such as ours, and getting out again without the payment of a really large sum in custom duties. Long before November, Dr. McDougall, he's like the head, Dr. McDougall,
Gotta love his name,
made a formal application to the proper department of the government in the city of Mexico for permission to enter Sonora and to return again with our horses, wagons, arms, implements, necessary supplies without the payment of duty. The request was duly endorsed by the government, our government.
They
so
had
it was
a green tag.
Right. So they had first they had it. It was all fine with the U.S. government, but then on the Mexican government, it says the department possibly corresponds to the U.S. Interior Department, resolved to grant the necessary permission. After an expenditure of about $40 in telegrams in 1907, the matter was finally arranged with the Mexican consul in Tucson, who acted for the Mexican collector of customs in Nogales. It says, so in order to ensure the admission into Sonoita without a hindrance of any kind, they sent a Teniente Lieutenant Jesus Medina from Nogales, 120 miles of tedious and wearisome horse riding across to receive us in Sonoita. So anyway, they get to Sonoita, and he had got there a day ahead. It says he was a very interesting man. It says, this is funny, the heat and winds of the deserts over which he has for all his life been eternally riding have tanned and weather-beaten his countenance until his complexion is very dark. He is 50 years of age, and therefore still in his prime. So anyway, okay, so it says,
makes me feel good.
He had in his possession full instructions regarding our expedition. So he appeared, he walked across the bare fields from the little group of houses on Main Street
In
in
Sonoita.
So it comes on and it says, all went well until, in comparison of the schedules of our outfit, they reached the item of wagons. And then it was found that through some mischievous inadvertence, both our wagons were entirely omitted from the list furnished by the Mexican customs officials in Nogales. Here was an annoying situation for which no one present was to blame. Lieutenant Medina was obviously greatly disturbed. It's perfectly plain, he said, that my government desires your expedition shall be admitted and facilitated, and of course you need your wagons in order to proceed. But my authority is found only in this official list of what is to be admitted free of duty.
The official list.
I dare not assume responsibility of exceeding my instructions, much as I would like to. It was plainly evident to us that Teniente, I don't know if I'm saying that
Lieutenant.
right, Lieutenant Medina was both annoyed and distressed. So it goes on and it talks about what they are discussing, and then Dr. McDougall made this proposal. Lieutenant Medina, the situation is the fault of neither of us. We must overcome it the best way we can. From your government, a permit for the use of one wagon is on your side of the line. With your permission, we might use our large wagon under that authorization, and then for the other, we will hire a wagon here, and at once return our second wagon to the American side of the boundary, to be held there until we return. Does that arrangement meet your approval? Perfectly, Doctor. It will be a great relief to me to see the matter so easily arranged. And thus, at the total cost of $9 in American money for the wagon hire, plus some wear and tear on our nerves, to account for the shakiness of the wagon, the situation was saved. Whereupon the midday meal was served with the best that our outfit could afford, and the lieutenant was invited to lunch with us. He accepted with the utmost cordiality, and we all sociably sat down on the ground around our canvas tablecloth and dined sumptuously.
That's just an awesome story.
Isn't that great?
I love it. I love it. So for me, what it means to me is like, so we're gonna come across some issues that are gonna grade us wrong. Like we're not gonna be happy about it. So do we rail against it or do we work along with it? It sounds like these guys worked it out really cool.
I like it.
I do too.
I like the story.
I love it.
It's a great book. So that's one little bit of the story on dealing with the details.
The details.
Making it work, and then lunching
extravagantly.
Sumptuously.
Yes. I love it. It's fantastic. Yeah, so we're kind of going through the same thing right now in Penasco with our people coming back, with our visitors coming back. There are some details. And so I guess we can do it good or we can do it bad.
It might cost $9
It might cost $9.
But
anyway,
in the end,
yeah,
that guy said, of course we want you to come and be in our country. It's just these paperwork details that we have to fix. So I kind of think that's a good way to look at it. Like, there's always problems. I mean, no matter what you try to do, if it has paperwork, it's going to be a mess for a few minutes at least, no matter what.
Right. So do we get upset or we just work with it?
See, like when I was doing my video and we kept having to listen to the same songs over and over until I picked which ones I liked, and you were like,
I was calling a divorce lawyer.
That would have been paperwork that would have cost way
that
more
was
than
deep.
$9.
Yeah, that was way more than $9.
Not worth it.
No. But the video turned out good.
Mm-hmm.
So the details, you went through details like crazy on that, and it worked out really super good. So there's no harm, no foul.
Right.
So what else did we talk about?
The only other thing I was thinking was the details. So we went out for the second time. We got the same meal 2 times in a row. We split a cheeseburger at Manny's, like when they first opened. So
a week ago.
The beach. Then we went to Puesta del Sol, split a cheeseburger there, and looked at the beach, looked at the sea. And the details of that were kind of interesting.
Yeah, so it was really cool walking into, well, it wasn't really cool, it was really different. We walked from our house. That's the ice cream guy in the neighborhood, by the way, in case you hear him. So we walked from our house all the way to Playa Bonita Resort, and went into Puesta del Sol, which is their restaurant. And we were greeted at the front door by a young man who had eye covering and a mask on. And he took our temperature.
I didn't know what he was doing.
She had no idea. She hasn't been out to a place where they take your temperature. Well, they have these, like, I don't know, infrared temperature takers. I don't know what they are.
I don't
Anyway,
know. When they put a red dot on your forehead, it's scary.
Yeah. So anyway, they did that to me, and it's like I thought I was going to be overheated because I just walked for half an hour, and then she came up and she like backed up. Anyway, and then they make you walk through a little trough to wash your shoes off. That's fine.
Hand sanitizer.
Hand sanitizers. Everybody in the restaurant had eye covering and mask on, and they walked us through to our table out on the patio. When we looked at the beautiful Sea of Cortez, completely empty beach, and they never brought us a menu because on the tables was a little piece of paper that was a QR code. They don't want to hand you anything that they have to clean before the next person comes in. So,
Right,
pretty cool.
so no menu because it would be a whole process of cleaning it before the next person could touch it, which was kind of an interesting detail.
I never thought about it.
I know.
Not a thought. So I put my camera over it, and I already knew what I wanted. I just wanted to see what the menu looked like. And it was pretty good. It's really, really laid out nice. And I think it might be a thing that we're going to see more and more.
But then, the disturbing detail that I have to think about here. And
always something disturbing.
yeah, well, on the way home, I told you if I end up getting sick, we'll know where it happened because I couldn't. They brought us ketchup in little packets so that you don't get the ketchup bottle and then they have to wash the ketchup bottle to give the ketchup bottle to the next person. So we just got ketchup in little packets, and you don't use ketchup, so I couldn't figure out how to open the packets, so I opened them with my teeth.
It's super hard.
So that's like the whole worst of the worst transgressions in the...
She actually said when she was going, I don't know if I'm going to get sick, but I got to have ketchup.
Yeah, because I guess asking for scissors would have been the same as asking for a ketchup bottle. Like, oh, it was funny.
But
anyway.
It's details, right?
Details!
It's details. So it's a work in progress, and we're going to get through this. We're going to get through it together.